on our day trip to Banten. We are now visiting Fort Speelwijk, which is an old Dutch fort, from the colonial era when Indonesia was known as the Dutch East Indies. So we're going to take a walk around the vicinity and just see what's left. So we're at the remains of the Speelwijk fortress, the old Dutch colonial fort in what was then the Dutch East Indies. And as you can see, there are the remains of some structures from the fort in the background and a football pitch. So it's kind of a bizarre combination, but it's kind of an interesting place. Not a great deal to see, but interesting from a historical standpoint. Okay, we've got what appears to be at least one chimney structure here. And what's kind of disturbing is that you could easily fall down into this or descend into the depths of wherever this leads to if you so desired. It's kind of crazy this isn't fenced off. And here in the background, just beyond that previous chimney, we have possibly more chimney structures, or at least open structures. It's kind of crazy that these are open. And we've got bats in there, which is kind of cool. Well, I thought that was going to be a ladder leading down, but sadly, I'm disappointed now. So we're on clearly the roof of what was once this mighty Dutch fortress, and this is what we can see. So I guess for all the historians out there, those people who love their history, people like myself, this would be a place of somewhat interest. But for those of you who are just typically sightseeing, there might not be too much here to see that's of interest or to keep you engaged. Would definitely like to learn more about the history of this place though. And the all too familiar graffiti, which is kind of sad. You can see there's triangular apertures around the perimeter of that particular enclosure, presumably for use with a rifle. I would suspect that it's not for use with a bow and arrow, because at the time that the Dutch conquered the East Indies, I believe it was the age of firearms. But even so, whether it's a bow and arrow or a rifle, that's a pretty small enclosure within which to operate. These must have been used for cannons, presumably, or maybe a number of guards to operate from. But it's quite a vast structure. I'd like to know more about this place. This is pretty crazy that you can actually stand right on the edge of this structure and you have what's easily a 12-foot drop down below. There's no safety nets, no barriers, and there's plenty of bats that are coming out because it's 6 p.m. Indonesian time right now. So be careful if you're afraid of bats. But interesting.